Welcome to Practical Theology. In this video, I'm going to do just a real quick review of Liberty University, more importantly, the Rawlings School of Divinity. I am almost through with my master's degree there. I know there's a lot of seminaries out there that offer online degrees. I'm getting my degree online. I do not know about every other degree or every other program. But when I was looking, and I think as a pastor, and if you're watching this and you're a pastor, maybe you feel called to preach, that calling is also a calling to lifelong learning. And when I became a pastor, I started off as a bivocational pastor, retired out of law enforcement, was still working for city government and was working at the water department at the time, and I was pastoring a small country church in Carroll County, Tennessee. I felt the need to continue on with my education. And one of the things that I really liked about Liberty is because I just recently retired from law enforcement, they offered a tuition discount for first responders. So that's something to think about, because college can be very expensive, especially if you've already got a bachelor's degree and then you're getting your master's degree, you're taking on more, which costs. So one of the things I really like about it, if you're a first responder, so maybe you're a volunteer firefighter, maybe you work for a rescue squad, or maybe you are in EMS or in law enforcement or whatnot, they offer a tuition discount at the time that I'm making this video for first responders. And that was one of the things that really caught my eye. So I signed up and I was approved to go. I'm getting my master's in divinity in biblical languages, which is proved, and I'm going to probably make a video later, especially about learning biblical languages online. It's quite difficult. But they offer a whole host of different concentrations, from biblical language to church history, to apologetics, to discipleship ministries, to chaplaincy programs. And I didn't realize prior to going into Liberty of how many people are trying to get into chaplaincy programs. And because there's a great need for chaplains in the armed forces. There's a great need for chaplains within hospitals and hospice care facilities and in other types of organizations. So Liberties is one way of getting your education, so you can go out and be a chaplain. But me being pastoral and me being the type that I wanted to really dig deep in the biblical languages, my specialization is there. And so about Liberty, when you sign up and you start taking classes, there's a research class that one of the first classes they have you take, and it needs to be the first class you take because it kind of gives you a overview of what to expect. I don't know about everybody's undergraduate, but we used APA formatting in my undergraduate. When you get into Liberty, they use the Chicago style or Turabian. And if you've never used that before, it takes a while to get used to. And a lot of people, especially through Facebook or other sites that I've looked at, struggle with it. And if your formatting is off, your professor is going to count off. So you really need to take that class first and really pay attention to formatting. And there's plenty of apps and programs out there that will help you and make sure that you got your citations and your documents formatted correctly. It's not that hard. The information's out there. I highly recommend is just getting the Turabian book. Every now and again they'll publish a new edition. When they do, I just go out and buy it, because you're going to use it if you're doing any type of academic writing, especially in theology. You're just going to need that book. So, and it's cheap. It's like $12. I can't remember how much I paid for mine. Got it on Amazon. It's the Turabian manual, and it's well worth having. So each class at Liberty, besides a seminar towards the end, is 8 weeks long, and that seminar is 16 weeks. So 8 weeks, you're in and out in classes, and your classes really change and roll over quite a bit. You can take as many as just one class per 8 weeks. I take a 2 and 3 method, so I take 2 classes the first 8 weeks of the semester, and the last 8 weeks of the semester I take 3 in order to try to get my degree completed quicker. Now, for some people, that is very easy to do. Other people, they struggle. So I highly recommend, your first couple classes, maybe only take one or two at the most to see how the workload's going to work for you. With me at the time when I started at Liberty, I was working at the water department. I was preaching. Of course, I'm a husband and I'm a father, and it took a lot of work. And now that I'm preaching just full time, it's not as my schedule is not as booked up as it was when I first started at Liberty. But it's 8 weeks, and like I said, you can take more than 5, but you got to get approval to do so. I've never thought the need. 5 is usually, if you're taking 5 classes per semester, you're going to stay pretty hopping, and you're going to stay really, really busy. Maybe busier than you want to be, depending on what classes, because some classes are really reading and writing intensive, and other classes are not as bad. So you really need to look and see, and you can look up beforehand about different classes and kind of what the requirements are going to be, so you can know ahead of time whether it's going to be really, really reading and writing intensive. There are some tests. Some classes you're going to take maybe 1 or 2 timed tests. So when you get in there and you click the link, you click to start. Some tests you have maybe 2 hours. Other tests you may have, I've had some as little as I think 45 minutes. And as soon as the page loads, your timer starts. So you really need to be up on your game and know exactly what's going on. A lot of your tests, the vast majority of your tests, are open book and open notes. So that really helps you if a lot of people are kind of squirmish or not very good test takers, knowing that you can have all your notes laid out, you can have your books, and you can be ready for it. Overall, the professors are great. I hadn't had a negative reaction with any professor. I've had some professors that I felt personally could do a little bit more, but overall, all the professors at Liberty are really, really good. And most of the time, if you join any of the Facebook groups about Liberty, especially in the Divinity School, there's quite a few professors that are part of those groups on Facebook, and really will help out. If you have a question or a comment, they will go in there and they will right away. They may not be your professor. You may not ever have them at all. But they will still answer your questions and try to give you guidance and help. Like with any online program, if you send your professor an email, they got, I think, 36 hours to answer it. So that can be a good and a bad thing. But overall, all my professors have been really, really good. They've been really prompt to reply. I've never really had to wait more than a couple of, I'd say 12 hours at tops, for them to reply back for a question that I have. Now, the thing about online learning is this, especially more so in the master's degree program than I did my undergraduate, you really got to be motivated. You got to be a self-starter. You don't want to be a procrastinator, because every Sunday at midnight Eastern time, your assignments are due. And if you are not complete with them, you're going to start getting grades counted off. And sometimes your research papers that are due on week 7 are really, really time intensive. You've got to spend a lot of time researching, a lot of time prepping your arguments, and then writing your paper, and then going through and reading and correcting your paper and making sure you have the citations you need. It's not something that you want to get home Sunday morning after church and go, you know what, I've got a 15-page research paper I got to type out now before midnight. It's not going to work out that way. Sunday that deadline hits, and I think it's every day that you've been late afterwards. I've yet to be late on I was late on one assignment, but every day afterwards they take, I think it's like 10% of the overall grade. They just automatically deduct. So you really need to be a self-starter. Another great thing about Liberty University and the Rawlings School of Divinity is all your books are they're electronic. At first I didn't like it. We started with Word Search, and Word Search got bought out by Logos, and then there was a couple other programs in there. I wasn't a big fan of that, and as you can see, this is just 2 of my bookshelves. I've got other bookshelves over here. I'm a big fan of having physical books. So I went ahead and bought my books. But here recently, and I believe it started in the summer semester, all your books, all the digital books that I've had since the start, and if you apply now and you get into Liberty University, they will be through Logos Bible software. So even with me, I've had had an account at Logos for quite some time. Over the years, I've kind of got some books here and there, but I feel that it's great that now that each and every book that we've got in our class is on Logos. So I can have that's always going to be there. Plus, I always have a physical copy here. And I think that is a really, just a really benefit. And other schools may do this too, but a real benefit to Liberty University is knowing that all your classroom material is going to be in Logos Bible software. You're going to be able to have it, your username, your account. You're going to have that for forever. And it's really easy to search. Going back, and we were talking about open book and open note test. Maybe you're taking a test and you're just unfor you can type that question in the search bar in Logos, and it's going to kind of pull you up to where you need to go in your textbook, and you can figure out the answers a whole lot quicker. So Logos is a very, very great program. I am ecstatic that now at Liberty, all my books automatically go to my Logos. And I will keep that. Another great thing about Liberty, through online, you get a free subscription to Microsoft. They say after you graduate, over some time when they clean the rolls out, you'll no longer have that. But with your username and password, you got access to all the Microsoft programs in case you don't want to pay that yearly membership. One last thing on books, though, I have noticed that Liberty uses BNC Virtual. And there are times, and I really don't like it, you put your class in there on BNC Virtual and it tells you, here's all the textbooks you need. So I order them and go ahead and ship to my house. And then when the class starts, there's always, every class, and never fails, there's always 2 or 3 books that BNC Virtual didn't offer. And now, like I said, I want to have the physical copy of the books. So I have stated time and time again, you give a course evaluation. Hey, make sure BNC Virtual has the books. And that's minor, because if it's not on BNC Virtual, pretty much every book besides one I've got off Amazon. There was one book on intercultural communications I tried to get off Amazon. It was $175, and I was just kind of like, no, I'm not paying that. I've got a digital version, and I'm not big on reading on the computer, but I just went ahead and did that instead of forking over. That's quite a bit of money for a book, in my opinion. So if you have any questions about Liberty University, if you would, just type them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to reply. If you got a question about a particular class, maybe you're a new Liberty student or a young Liberty student, let me know and I'll try to be able to help you out. The camaraderie between Liberty students is really, really great. There's a lot of good Facebook groups out there, especially within the Rawlings School of Divinity. If you have a question, or maybe you need some help, or maybe just prayer, because prayer will get you through seminary. You got to be a man or a woman of prayer as you're going through this program. And just, let people know, and they will be more than happy to help you out. So I've really had no gripes about Liberty. I've got some minor things, and I'm going to make some videos about some individual classes, about things maybe I would change. But overall, Liberty University is a great university to continue on your biblical education. It is, overall, and I don't know about other schools, I can't beat it. I'm very satisfied with the education, the quality of education that I've gotten at Liberty, and all the information that I've learned that's not only helped my ministry, but is just going to help me just further the gospel. Personal evangelism classes and other classes, discipleship classes, some leadership classes in there that you're required to take. That will really help you out. And I always go into some of those classes, and especially the evangelism class, be like, I've been mission-minded for a while. What is this evangelism class going to show me? But, you get in those classes and you're learning so much, and you're able to communicate with other people. and learn different ideas. And so Liberty University is a great school. If you're thinking about going to seminary, I highly recommend Liberty University. If you like this video and if you'd like to see other content, be sure to like and subscribe. And once again, I hope that each and every one of you have a blessed day.